What's in this bag is going to add another 100 horsepower to the Kia Stinger. God. Oh my God, dude, that was loud. That shit was screaming. Oh, dude, I'm in love. This is crazy. Hey fam, thank you for tuning in to the Dark Rise channel. The name is Frankie. If you guys aren't quite familiar with me, basically I have two KTM vehicles. I have the Kia Optima or K5, kind of controversial, but it's a 2015 SXL, fully built, literally wide body, everything, big turbo coming in. And then we got my Kia Stinger in the back over here. It's a 2020 Kia Stinger GT2, red guts, black exterior, and it's got that 3.3 liter twin turbo V6. But many of you guys have been asking when we're gonna finally add power to the Kia Stinger, because I pretty much did everything cosmetic to the car other than a wide body kit. As you see, we got that murdered out look, we got the lip, gills, and then we also got that forged carbon hood, very rare hood, and then we got side skirts, crazy wheel setup, and yes, these are real forged starter wheels. We got the upgraded rotors. In the rear we got Toyo Proxies, front and rear these are 295s, fronts are 245s I believe. And then in the rear, what kind of sets me apart from everybody is we got this crazy GT style wing, and then we upgraded to the 2022 facelifted tail lights, and then we got that M&S diffuser, and then we can't forget what we just recently did, the roof spoiler with the LED brake light that matches with that big old light bar that goes across the bottom. If you haven't seen that video of how we installed that, go check it out. It's a very easy mod to do. But enough with the cosmetic stuff. Let's move the car up to the driveway so we could get to working on it. Now let me show you guys what we got going on under the hood. Pull the latch real quick, and then gotta press down these push pins. And voila, we got the INJEN intakes, and then we also got HKS blow-off valves, all in wrinkle black to match. I didn't want to have any red. I like this setup. It makes the car look almost OEM. And then we also got the AddW1 catch can. Just quick shout out to AddW1. Since I'm here, I might as well add the heat covers for the intakes that AddW1 sent us. Yes sir, carbon fiber heat shields. If you want to get yourself some dope carbon fiber heat shields, go check out AddW1 or click the link down below and get yourself these for the Kia Stinger. They're highly worth it. Just look at the gloss finish. Looks so good. Also gonna help with heat management since these motors do produce a lot of heat. So what's in this bag is going to add another 100 horsepower to the Kia Stinger, but I'm just letting you guys know this is temporary. What we have here is the JB4 Quick Connect. It's got that Bluetooth controller, literally the whole setup. It is used, I got it for half the price, but like I said, this is temporary until KSR Performance has a tune for the Kia Stingers as well as a transmission tune. We're just going to be rocking this for now. Now let's get to doing it. I did buy some spark plugs to upgrade from what we have currently, because I do know Burger Motorsports says you need to run upgraded spark plugs. You can run HKS, or you could run what they said is best, which is the Denso spark plugs, which are way cheaper than the HKS spark plugs. I used to run HKS on the K5, and honestly I wasn't a fan of it. They're too expensive. You're gonna cycle through the HKS spark plugs as fast as you're gonna cycle through these Densos, and these are literally 1/3 of what an HKS spark plug is worth, and they do the same job. So I'm gonna get to gapping these real quick. I bought this gapping tool from Amazon, which should do the trick. It was about 10 bucks, and then I'm gonna get to installing them. and then running also the wires for the JB setup. It says to gap these to 0.022. So I got my gapping tool here, the blades. Simply put it in place, slide the correct measurement, and just press firmly, and that should be good enough. As you see, I press it in and just barely slides through. Before I continue, I'm gonna disconnect the battery real quick. Just take off the negative terminal. All right, we're gonna get to putting on the spark plugs now. They've been already gapped at this point, but instead of going the traditional route that everybody goes with, where they get like 4 extensions and 3 joint sockets and end up making some crazy everybody always seems to be intimidated by taking off this intake manifold. The Twin Turbo on YouTube gives a great explanation of how to remove that thing, and honestly it looked pretty easy on video. I already got started by removing this piping here. We're gonna get to doing this part last because this side is the most easiest. As you see, getting access to this spark plug, I believe the cylinder 5 is the most difficult to get to. That's where everybody ends up using this when they don't want to be taking off that intake manifold. But I'm gonna get to doing this because I don't want to end up either over torquing the spark plug with this here or damaging the connector. 8 bolts for the manifold, and they're not that tight. So the bolts are covered up by this shield here. All you have to do is sandwich a Phillip head underneath and twist up, and you could easily remove. Just make sure you don't drop it into the abyss. One thing I like to do is labeling where each bolt goes, and using a piece of cardboard, it helps hold it in place. Harness is loose. Now I could get to getting the bolts from the manifold off. And then last is a size 14 bolt that you have to break loose, that's holding this whole entire manifold. God damn. Manifold has been removed. Like I said, you want to take off the C-clamps from the throttle body. That way you have leverage to twist, and you don't have to remove it completely. You just want to have enough space where you can work on these spark plugs. But since I'm here, I'm going to check to see if there's any gunk on the valves. Yo, look at those valves. There's some upgraded intake manifolds that make it much more convenient and accessible to get to these spark plugs. I'm just saying, if there's any companies out there that want to get into doing that, I'll be your #1 customer. Now, I'm not going to really record me doing the spark plugs because now you saw how easily accessible they are after you remove the manifold. So the spark plug on cylinder 4 is at 0.34 millimeters. Kind of shocked because the Denzos are spec'd to be at 0.22, which is a significant difference. Let me show you guys real quick. Perfect. My double chin ass up.
You can see it. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So right now I have someone doing this on my car. It's just a little mod, you know. I just hired him from an auto shop called, and then these things here is to protect all of this.
It's the next day. It got too dark for me to continue to film, but all the spark plugs are back in. I'll say this intake manifold was much more easier to remove than the 4-cylinder Optima one was. This one was like straightforward. Even the intercooler piping that connects to the throttle body was easy to remove, and it shows you exactly, and it's indicated where you should be putting it back. I'm gonna get to putting on the JB4. putting all the wiring together. I'm not going to show you guys exactly how to, because there's plenty of videos on YouTube of how to install this. But what I ended up getting were these adapters for the O2 sensors so that I don't pierce my OEM factory wiring. I did also get the electric wastegate adapters. Up next is putting the OBD2 connector in and running it through the firewall. Using a thick Phillips screwdriver, I stick it through the firewall so I could feed a huge zip tie through, where I'm gonna tape the OBD connector to it, and then you could clearly see it through here. Let me show you. You can see where it is. Phillip head's there and the zip tie is right there as well. And then once you start feeding that cable through, you could reach it with your hand and start pulling it through, and then just route it underneath all the way up to the JB4. Just put some tape on it and you can feed it easily through. I have the passenger side done. Now I'm on to the driver's side for the O2 sensor adapter. I'm doing a clean wire management. I have it ran underneath the lines here. With zip ties, I already tested it out to see if you would see the wires, and it looks pretty much flush. You guys see at the end how clean it looks. Alright, gonna disconnect this one. Driver's side intake is off. I already have the adapter for the electronic wastegate connected. I ran it behind the ECU and then under the liner. Once this is zip tied and put together, you literally won't see the wires. All that's left is the map sensor. So the colorful wires go with this sensor here. Disconnect and replace it. Flex fuel kit actually just came in right now in the mail, so I'm gonna get to installing it. And if you guys want to see how to install this, go check out Stinger_GT21. He shows a great way of how to install it. So I'm gonna get to doing it since it's getting dark. I need to finish this up real quick. There is a special tool to remove the hose that's connected to the high pressure fuel pump, but if you have one of these clip removers, it's also the same dimension, so you could use this. But just make sure you didn't have the car running for about half a day or more. Put a towel underneath, because there is some fuel that's gonna come out and you don't want it to get and sit inside by the cylinders. So sandwich it in between, press forward, and it should pop right off. If it squirts, that means you're doing a good job.
Hey yo, what the fuck?
As stated, orange is connected to the high pressure fuel pump. Where I live, it takes about 30 minutes to get to my nearest E85 station, but we got 30 miles till empty and I'm pretty much almost here now. Now that we're doing an E30 blend, I'm gonna be more consistently being at this gas station. My goal is to one day be full E85. That would be the dream. I do know that Berger Motorsports has now made an upgraded fuel pump for the Kia Stingers, and I'm excited for that. So I use the calculator that's on the app of the Fuel It, and the last blend that I did was about an E33. Sorry, this pump doesn't work, man. No, like it wouldn't accept card, so I had to use this one. When I'm almost done, it's just the E30 blend. It does have E85. Yeah. I'm just gonna do like 4 gallons and then you can use this one. No problem. I'm gonna try to do a 50 roll. See if the car cuts boost again, like it's been doing. 3. Here we go, 50. Yeah, it's sluggish. I think the E content's too high. The car feels pretty sluggish right now. got the JB4 set up on map 4. I'm gonna take it for a test hit right now. The problem I have right now is I have no traction. The tires are pretty much bald on these R888Rs. I need to get new wheels. I already have a wheel appointment set up next week. So hopefully by then we could start doing some crazy rips. But right now I'm gonna try to do a 10 to 60 because I definitely will not get traction on a dig. And I'm not trying to go into a wall because these floors are wet right now. God damn, dude. This shit fucking rips. It didn't break up. It didn't set me back to map 0. So car's feeling good and I had traction, so not bad. Dude, that shit felt fucking fast, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, that felt really good. I'm not gonna lie, my heart's thumping right now. That shit was pretty fast for me. God damn. A little bit of tunnel action right here. Oh my god, dude, that was loud. That shit was screaming. Downshift. Oh, dude, I'm in love. This shit's crazy. The blend I made is doing pretty good. If anyone can explain to me what the E85 sensor or gauge is for the JB4, if you guys could educate me on that, that would be sick. Comment down below what it means, because I'm assuming it's like the ethanol content, right? Like for E85, but this says 22. And then when I look at the gauge for the flex fuel kit, that thing says, or fuel kit, that thing says E33. So I'm still trying to figure that out. Comment down below if you guys know what that E85 gauge is for on the JB4. So here's where we're at now. Literally clean setup. All the wires are tucked. The only thing I really want to do next would be wrapping all this with this type of shielding. That way it looks like it's OEM. So this thing actually came out better than I anticipated. The way I have it set up is literally tucked almost perfectly. There's some areas that show, for example, there, and then over here. What I really want to do here is cover it up with this same type of material. I just need to find a store that sells it and then just have it all covered up all the way down to this corner here. So that's pretty much it. As for the wiring on this end, the fuel sensor is right in there, and then we got a couple wires that are out of place, like this one here. I just need to figure out how I'm gonna route that one so it looks more flush. But I'm so thankful that AdW1 sent these over, because I mean, look at how perfectly it covers it up. You can't see anything unless you get really close, and then you can see this little cable here. But pretty much that's it. I mean, just look at the finish. It looks great. I do want to put the cover of the engine on, but this hood doesn't allow it to. As you see, it's already scraping, and it literally started burning through it there. So I don't want it to burn through and start touching the carbon fiber. So I'm gonna just leave it the way it is now. I think it matches, and I'm also gonna let it get dirty. I'm not gonna have a clean engine bay setup. That way, the more dirtier it looks, the more OEM it would look as well, because it'll just match with all the dirt. But JB4 is installed, and the spark plugs as well. Intakes, we got the HKS blow-off valves, AdW1 catch can setup. But that's pretty much it. That's almost full bolt-on. The only thing left would have to be the intercooler, which I'm debating on doing, because I really don't want to change the pipings. I'm yet to find anything other than the Mishimoto setup that's in wrinkle black. And that Mishimoto setup, for the size of the intercooler, it's not that much of a difference. I do see the Wagner intercooler setup, but from what I've heard, you're not allowed to run the trans cooler. But I really want to do the transmission cooler setup, because I've seen that they put it straight up in the center here, but I think because I have the GT2 and I have the camera set up here and all that, it might not allow my car to do that. So another idea I have is to do kind of what I did with the Kia Optima, where I built myself one for the oil cooler. I want to put it right here where the gill is. That way air could go straight through and duct into the transmission oil cooler. I do know that it ends up here, but I might end up cutting it, and then right behind this fender guard I'll have that transmission oil cooler set up. I just got to figure out the routing situation. But I'm still waiting on some electric suspension cancelers from car tuners or Quick Nick. I guess they've been on back order, but hopefully they arrive soon, because I really want to install them, because since I've changed the suspension, I've had that little light that says check the suspension, and I'm kind of annoyed by it because my seats have that bolstering that opens and like closes whenever you put it in sport mode, and I like that feeling.
What do you mean by that?
We also have to change the tires, because look at that, they're literally bald. The centers are completely gone. Luckily there's no wire. Looks like an even wear from end to end, so I'm kind of happy with the alignment so far. But I mean, these Toyo Proxies only lasted me about 10,000 miles, which is not a lot compared to like running something like Hankook or Michelin. That's like nothing. I literally have only had these for about 3 or 4 months, and they're already gone, literally bald. Whenever it rains, this car just slides from side to side, which is a sketch. But I still have to put on the little brace for the diff on the bottom as well that we got from Burger Motorsports, and I'm excited for that. But might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So when I get my tires replaced in the rear, might as well do it, since we're gonna be on a lift and have them install it. Just look how caked up my mufflers have gotten because of the Toyo Proxies. Like, this thing's just wears so fast, takes it up with all this tire wear. I mean, just look at that one over there, bald. Like, you could barely see any thread now, and the mufflers and everything in the bottom is just caked up with tire. I really want to put some Mickey Thompsons in the rear. I'm able to now that I've seen, I believe it was SoCal Stinger with it. I do know that Mickey Thompsons do fit on the Kia Stinger, which would be awesome. It'll match the roundness to the front of the tires that I got going on right now. I guess I didn't go with the proper tire wall height, but with the Mickey Thompsons, it should fit and flow much more better. But that's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, remember guys, please hit the like button, also subscribe, and that's pretty much it for today's video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.